right, guys, welcome back to another video. Lots to talk about to start off this week. We're going to talk about Xbox marketing in the EMEA, which is Africa and the Middle East and Europe, and just what is going on there. We heard a report last week from Tom Warren that Xbox was going to be pretty much pulling their marketing out for the consoles out of that region and focusing only on Game Pass and cloud streaming and all of the services that Xbox has. And now we have some more information from the Xbox EMEA marketing boss himself as to kind of what is happening there. Now, before we do continue and get into the news for the day, if you do enjoy daily gaming news, hit that subscribe, hit the like button, and check out the link to my Spotify. It is in the description. So when it comes to the EMEA, Xbox apparently is far less funded than PlayStation. This was an interview with Marketing Week, and the head of Xbox marketing in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, Michael Flatt, has said that the team has to be quite scrappy, really. And this is exactly what he says. From a funding point of view, we need to work really hard against our competition. They're blessed, referring to PlayStation, with marketing funds that we're just not able to enjoy, but that's totally fine. We adopt what I would call a more fiscally responsible approach to media investments. We're not blessed with huge media budgets, so we have to be quite scrappy, really, and quite tenacious to fight for funds that would probably go somewhere else. So that's the report, and that's kind of what we were hearing a little bit of, not these words exactly, but a little bit of that from the report from Tom Warren that was locked behind the paywall, and in regards to Xbox potentially pulling their marketing out for the console itself and just focusing on these services. And obviously in that region, Xbox doesn't value that region as much as other regions, so they give them smaller budgets in order to go out and marketing. And people are looking at this and thinking, well, this is Microsoft we're talking about. There's no reason why they wouldn't be able to afford to spend more marketing dollars in that region, outspend PlayStation, or at least spend as much as PlayStation. But the way I see it is that they look at where Xbox is popular and then they allocate funding based off of that. And the reality is Xbox is really just extremely popular in North America and in some other places, but that is their main bread and butter for where they do sell, where a lot of people are playing. Now, going forward, that could completely change, and I think they see that changing for the better if they do really focus on people just subscribing to their ecosystem on any device that they want to play on. I mean, that's their goal. That's what they've been pushing forward. You're going to see that really push more, obviously, in the Asian regions, where I don't think, no matter how many big first-party titles drop onto Xbox consoles exclusively every single month, I don't think that the Xbox console will be able to compete or outsell with the Nintendo console or the PlayStation console. They've already kind of gone through that, and they've seen the results of dropping big titles, dropping big games into Game Pass day one, and the console's still not really moving. So I don't think there's really anything they can do there, and that's why they would focus on getting their games in front of where people are playing in those regions. But you could definitely argue, why don't they give more marketing money? Why don't they push more to try to beat out PlayStation in the amount of spent in this regions? And I think it just comes down to what businesses do. They look at their markets, they see where they sell, they forecast how much they're going to sell in the future, and then they allocate marketing budgets accordingly, depending on the popularity of the platform, the popularity of the console itself, or the services that they do have. Now, you could argue that if they don't ever spend more, they'll never grow, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure that would actually be the case if you would see a major correlation between far more marketing dollars spent in those regions and then Xbox just all of a sudden becoming bigger, competing better with PlayStation or Nintendo. But until they start spending it, we won't actually know if that does happen. Now, if you are a fan of the Halo TV series, which I am not really a big fan of it, the first season really threw me off. I know the second season was better, but the first season really just threw me off, and I could never get back into it. And it looks like it is not going to be going on any further. We have a report here that Paramount Plus is canceling the show. They're not going to be renewing it. This is the statement that they put out. We are extremely proud of this ambitious series and would like to thank our partners at Xbox 343 Industries and Amblin Television, along with the showrunner and executive producer David Weiner, his fellow executive producers, the entire cast led by Pablo Schreiber, and Master Chief, and the amazing crew for all of their outstanding work. We wish everyone the best going forward. So it looks like they are canceling this show, and that they aren't going to be bringing it back, at least with Paramount Plus. And according here to the Hollywood Reporter, Xbox and 343s will still try to get somebody else to go and actually pick up the show itself and continue with a third season if anybody wants to invest in it. They say, we deeply appreciate the millions of fans who propelled the Halo series to a global success, and we remain committed to broadening the Halo universe in different ways in the future. We are grateful to Amblin and Paramount for their partnership in bringing our expansive sci-fi universe to viewers around the world. So I am honestly not that surprised. They were saying that the show was doing very good, so maybe there's another reason why it did get canceled. But when season 1 came out, it was very apparent that they did not care about the IP. They did not care about the legacy of the IP for the fans who made Halo as big as it was, and they were trying to appeal to a broad audience and get tons more people watching than just the Halo fans. That's kind of what happens when you see a lot of these TV show and movie adaptations, which is why I don't get too excited about it, because you're going to have people making these things that probably aren't the biggest fans of the video game or the canon of it or whatever, and then they just go out and make something completely different. And obviously with Master Chief, with taking his helmet off and everything and trying to humanize him more, I guess, to appeal to a broader range of people, I thought was a terrible idea, because Master Chief, the way that he is in the games, he's mysterious. He has one word or couple word sentences, and they hit really hard. That's what makes that character so great, because you just know how badass he is. And they took that away, I think, a little bit by taking off his helmet and stuff. So I'm not surprised that this happened. And also, there was all the reports that were coming out about the people creating the show didn't even look at the game at all. They didn't even pay attention to the game. So maybe this is what happens, or maybe there's something else going on behind the scenes. But I can't say I'm sad that the Halo TV series has gone away. And as a Halo fan of the video games, a big fan of the series, I would be okay if they just left it and they don't do anything else here. Just give us some more games. Like, that's all really I care about. But that's just my selfishness speaking here when it comes to the Halo franchise. Now, a game that has just come out is insane success. I'm enjoying it a lot. College Football 25. We know this game is a decade in the making, and if you do have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you actually can get a free 10-hour trial with it with your EA Play subscription that's added to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. But the game, you could get the ultimate, the deluxe version of this game and get a 3-day early access to it. And it has been just insane, the amount of people that have decided to go and pick this up. Over 2.2 million players and another 600,000 players played via the EA Play 10-hour trial that was available, meaning that they say here the original internal expectations for the game were to hit the mid 100 million for revenue in order to be a success. And that number, based on the player count who purchased the $100 deluxe edition, has already been surpassed. And you just do simple math, they're around 220 million in deluxe edition sales already. So Deluxe edition was $100, and 2.2 million people decided to jump in and get that edition just to play 3 days earlier, plus some other things that do come with that issue. But this is just a massive success for EA. We heard about the stories about how a game was actually pushing sales of the Xbox Series S. And it's, to me, that's not a big surprise, because if you're somebody who you could consider them more casual, they don't play everything, they don't play many different genres, they're probably out there playing college football, Madden, Call of Duty, those just like a couple of games a year. The Xbox Series S is the no-brainer option for a lot of people. They're not really looking, counting pixels and everything, and it's a perfect option. I mean, I've been playing College Football 25 on my Xbox Series S, as I have it in my computer, in front of my monitor, and the game looks and runs great. So it's a no-brainer for a game like this. So I wasn't surprised to see those numbers. But this game is doing massive for EA, and we will continue to obviously see this series more going forward. It's really good. If you haven't checked it out, if you like football games, if you were wondering if this will be as good as some of the older games that you played, it is one of the best football games I think EA has released in a very, very long time, because I think Madden has been bad for a very, very long time. Now, when it comes to unionization, that was one of the big things here with the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition. Lots of unions and communities and things that were coming out and talking about how They were worried that Xbox and Microsoft would stop unionization. That obviously has not been the case, and it is continuing here as Bethesda has voted to become the first Microsoft game studio to fully unionize. Now, of course, it's not part of the ABK acquisition, but it's still part of a major acquisition that they had with Bethesda, and this is showing that Microsoft is allowing this to happen within their studios. It says the union was formed after 241 developers, including artists, engineers, programmers, and designers, signed a union authorization card or indicated they wanted a union representative via an online portal, and Microsoft has recognized the union. The union wrote this on X, saying, "We, a majority of developers at Bethesda Game Studios, Dallas, Rockville, and Austin, are ecstatic to announce the formation of our union with CWA Union." And then they say, "Together as one BGS USA, we advocate for the betterment of every developer at BGS, setting the new standard of our industry. As a democratic organization, we seek to empower the collective wishes of our studio's workers, having a safe, sustainable, and equitable work environment for all. Having a proper seat at the discussion table allows us to turn those wishes into reality. Joining in solidarity with our fellow members at ZeniMax Workers, One BGS Montreal, and all of the CWA Union, we push to increase job security, compensation, transparency, and flexibility to continue creating the games we love as we work towards our first contract with Microsoft. We hope you'll join in voicing your support as we serve as an example for all into the next era of game development." So there it is. It's fully unionized now. The first one here at Microsoft Game Studios. And it's coming after a time where we've just seen layoffs and closures and a very hard time to be in the industry itself. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see more of this going forward with unionization across more Xbox Game Studios. Now, this weekend, I played a bit of this. I even streamed it, and those who were in the stream, thanks for coming by, and you saw me jumping in here and giving it a try. And that is Concord. Concord had its open beta, and I was thinking maybe the open beta will be a true indicator how popular this game could be. Like, there'll be more people jumping in, as you don't need to play. You can play on PC, you can play it on PlayStation, but you don't need to pre-order or do any of that type of stuff to get into the beta. And it has absolutely failed. I mean, in terms of player numbers, it really is looking like at this point, Concord is going to be DOA if this is what happens when the game releases, especially because it is a $40 game. So you have to buy it. It is not free to play. So it is looking very, very bad here for Concord, as here are the player numbers that we are seeing. This is what we have right now. This is from this screenshot from, I think this was when I'm filming this on Sunday night. So the users at that time were 1,027. The 24-hour peak was 1,447, and the all-time peak through 3 days of this beta, 2,388. And keep in mind, this beta is available for everyone to download on PC, everyone to download on the PlayStation 5. So Concord is not looking good. Now, I played it. I don't think it's a bad game. I think there is like some fun there. It feels well. I don't like the character designs. That's one of the biggest flaws, I would say. But the overall feel and the maps and everything seemed decent. Like, it wasn't bad per se, but it's just, why would you go and play Concord over playing what's already out there? It doesn't set itself apart, I don't think, in any way. And people have their games that they've been playing. There's far bigger communities in most of those games. So why would you leave a game like Overwatch? Why would you leave a game like Valorant? Why would you leave a game like Call of Duty? People are going to leave those games and go and play Concord. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens when this thing releases. I think that they need to just scrap the $40, release it as a free to play, maybe even delay it a little bit, maybe do something there to release it at a time when there's nothing around it, but just free to play, try to build more hype for it, and maybe there's a chance. But based off of these numbers for the open beta, Concord, to me, is looking like it is dead on arrival. And this is a game PlayStation needs to be successful. They need a multiplayer game. They need a games as a service game. And right now, they may have to rethink their strategy with this style of game and come up with something different. It's one of the reasons why, when you only double down on the same IPs over and over again, when you try to release something brand new like this, that you've conditioned your fan base to not really care too much about, this is kind of what potentially can happen. And we're seeing it happen live right now. All right. When it comes to PlayStation 5 Pro, it looks like it is still coming out this year, and it could be on September 26th, or at least that's when we could see an announcement for it at the Tokyo Game Show. We know PlayStation is showing up at the Tokyo Game Show this year. They haven't been there in a very long time, but this is a report from Game Ramp reporting off of Insider Gaming saying that the PS5 Pro has been rumored for quite some time, will presumably fulfill a function similar to what the PS4 Pro accomplished back in the day. It will be a mid-gen upgrade that gives gamers more powerful machine that won't have exclusive but will allow for better performance. And Sony has yet to officially announce the PS5 Pro, but the company has a long history of releasing console revisions. In fact, every single PlayStation console has had a revision of some kind. And a new report from Insider Gaming addresses the recent rumors that the PS5 Pro could be pushed back to 2025 instead of a release in late 2024, as was previously believed. The report indicates that there's no sign the PS5 Pro has been delayed, so it seems like PlayStation fans can still expect the souped up new console to be available at some point within the next 5 months. So there are rumors basically going around saying that it could be pushed to 2025. That does not seem to be true. It looks like Tokyo Game Show will be the announcement, and then they will probably give a release date and a pre-order date and all that stuff, and it will be landing here before the end of 2024 for a console holiday release, you could say. My other question though is why? What's the point? What are games are they releasing for it? Which makes me start to think maybe at the Tokyo Game Show we're going to actually finally see a roadmap for the PlayStation 5 with a lot of great first-party content to try to sell the PlayStation 5 Pro. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I have my fingers crossed for that. Now, we have some more information here on the PS5 Pro because the latest No Man's Sky update, they say, has reportedly added support for the PS5 Pro in the game files, which there's a new graphics preset for Trinity. It adds improved water quality, increased minimum resolution from 1268p to 1728p, which is 77% more pixels, but there's no mention of PSSR or any other pro features at this time. So you're kind of getting a little glimpse into what you may be able to expect here with a PlayStation 5 Pro. And finally, we'll end off with this because I think this is kind of insane what's going on here with Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think the game looks great. I'm going to be playing it. It's one of the games I'm most excited for this year. But you have a lot of detractors of this game making videos and arguing that it is just not good because of the main protagonist, Yasuke, who they say was never actually a samurai, and that it is Ubisoft distorting history and distorting Japanese history, and people are angry. Like, there's petitions. It's pretty crazy. If you are worried about that, like if you're angry about this, it is pretty crazy what's going on online for this game. But we have this, which kind of, I say, destroys a lot of arguments out there about the main character and the protagonist and everything. This is from Japanese historian Yu Hirayama, saying that Yasuke was a samurai. And this is specifically the quote. There seems to be a lot of talk about Yasuke, a black man who served Nobunaga Oda. If I get these names right, I'm trying my best here. Historical records about him are quite scarce, but there is no doubt that he was a samurai serving Nobunaga. I can see this because the historical documents that we have state that Nobunaga gave him a stipend, he was given a house, and he was given a sword. So he is a samurai based off of this Japanese historian. And I wonder if this is going to maybe calm the outrage online about it, or if people really care, or if it's just grifters grifting to try to get the attention and bring negativity towards this game. I'm not 100% sure, but this is kind of where we are here with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like I said, I mean, I'm playing this game when it comes out. I like Assassin's Creed a lot, and the game, to me, from the gameplay trailers that they showed off with the two characters and the way that they differ, and how you can kind of select which one you want to use on a mission by mission basis and stuff, a game looks really, really good. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.